Hi everyone, I'm Montana. This is my channel, Random Hub. Welcome, or welcome back, probably mostly welcome. This is going to be my first book video, so let's get started. So my goal was 20 books this year, and I surpassed that by a long shot. So I'm just going to go over a couple, the first few in this video. And I'm mostly an audiobook reader. I firmly believe that audiobooks are a disability aid, as well as like it gives more people a chance to read books. So I don't want to hear any hate in my comments. It will be removed, deleted, and blocked because audiobooks is still reading. The first book I read this year was There's No Way I Die First by Lisa Springer. Originally I gave this book 4 stars, but the more it settled with me, the more I thought, and it was 3.25 out of 5. It was a good book, but it could definitely be a lot better. The audiobook narrator, Nika Renee Martin, I don't think I said her first name right, has a great voice. You can definitely picture some of the characters. Some of them did blend together at times, and that was like, but I can understand there was a lot of dialogue happening there. I definitely would listen to another book by her, read by her, but yeah. Lisa Springer, she herself has a very quick writing style, which for me is a must because like my brain, if it's slow, I will just fall asleep during it. There's a few books in here that I've fallen asleep during, and just had to rewind and it was just as slow, and I fell asleep again during them, which isn't something I like. So it definitely gets into effect with these books, but hers kept me awake and engaged and like thoroughly going, okay, what's gonna happen next? I'm very excited. Without spoilers, this was a horror book, a horror slasher book. I got into horror a lot this year compared to previous years, as well as some romance. I used to absolutely hate romance and horror. I thought romance was really just plain girly, and there wasn't like, I wasn't able to see myself with these characters like falling in love. And I also was like so jealous of them. Then there's also horror, and I've only recently gotten into horror the past couple years, so that's been fun. The main character is great at what she does, and what she does is talk about movies, and she talks about movies a lot. I think her name is Noelle, and it's what she talks about. She runs a horror movie like video book club, not video book club, a movie club, film club, where they watch movies, and I think it's just really fun, and I enjoy that for her. But what I also thought was the most unrealistic situation was that all of these kids that she invited to this party are like either very rich or very famous. Most of them are both, which I can get, but like you're dedicating your whole life now behind like 50,000 views of what you got on like a music video or what you got on like watchers. Like, I mean, that's very big, especially for that. But these kids are basing their whole lives after that. And they're only in high school. And so that was like the most unrealistic part for me, is that they're succeeding so much by only in high school by doing these things that they do. It just didn't really sit right with me, and I thought it like removed the part of reality for it to me, like immersive part for me. Yeah, that's the word, immersive. It removed the immersion for me a bit. The twist was good. It was very cliche. I did not like the character Taylor. I don't understand why they were there. I feel like Taylor could be replaced with anyone else at that party and it'd be a lot better. Taylor's plot line didn't make any sense to me. The main like reason behind the villains and stuff like that didn't make any sense. I thought we could just do without it. Overall, pretty good. I would have just cut out Taylor as a whole. I loved how the fast-paced, how the ending was going, and how like you think you're catching a breath, and it was really good. So that is that book. The second book I read this year was Broken in the Best Possible Way by Jenny Lawson. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars, and it is a book I think about on and off a lot, about how she goes through her like life, her day-to-day, both with like social anxiety and disability. And I could relate to this book a lot. It made me laugh, and it made me cry, and it made me think. The stream, like the thought process of how she wrote, because this book is nonfiction, and how like people write their memoirs and stuff like that. I started getting into memoirs this year as well. I've only read a couple, but hers was a stream of thought and I could follow it. It was definitely like she set up a timeline, like, but it was still stream of thought. And it was nice to know that other people out there also suffer with chronic pain and they struggle with it. And like she talks about how it affects her day-to-day life as well as her family and how she just feels about that, because I felt the same way quite a lot of times. I do wish I read this book sooner. I found it off a Reads with Rachel video and I appreciated that. It was definitely a good book and I do regret not reading it sooner. But it was something I needed, especially at that time in my life at the start of this year. I needed something like that. The next book I read was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, but now that I sit with it more, it is horrific what she went through, and I still think it is 5 out of 5 stars, but it's not something I want to go back to. She tells her life and the way her writing, beautiful. Would love to see another book out of Jennette McCurdy. I don't think I want to read another memoir because holy shit, like, oh my gosh. It's something I recommend a lot of people read, and I wish more people do read it because it is such a good and inspiring book. But oh my god, I could relate to it at some points because I've been through some of those things, but a lot of it was just, ooh, not for me. But a 5 out of 5 stars, and I do recommend everyone listen to it, especially if you watched iCarly growing up. It will shake up your experience with it, but it's needed. The next book I read was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I really finished this after I finished I'm Glad My Mom Died, and then I immediately started this book. And it was definitely like a breather. I needed it. And while Agatha Christie is an older author, there was some slurs, some homophobia, maybe uncomfortable, but I'm like, it's for the times. And it was very kept to a minimum. There was maybe 3 or 4 racist instances, but like offhand comments that made me uncomfortable. And I think there was maybe 1 or 2 homophobic comments that made me a bit uncomfortable. But overall, it was a good book. I enjoyed the twist. I didn't see it coming. I thought that was really cool. And now that I know this twist, I am not going to read another book with a twist like it that is advertised like this book. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, because there's such an iconic twist and you will know it coming from a mile away. The characters were all hateable. I loved that about the book. There's some characters that are hateable, and in books I read this year that are supposed to be hateable. But this type of hateable that Agatha Christie is able to write was so profound and so like, I hate you. I love to hate you. I want more of you. I want more of your life falling to pieces. I want to know more of why you're the way that you are, and not just like, oh my god, get off my thing. You are such a narcissistic. Go away. Like, I liked it. Ooh. The 4th book I read was The Alpha's Warlock by Elliot Grayson. I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It is a romance. It's cringy. It's cheesy. I love it. It's a werewolf and warlock romance. Absolutely adore it. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but I do hate miscommunication, and the miscommunication trope in this was pretty bearable for me. It was done in a way that I could get through it, and I can understand why. I can understand why they miscommunicated, and I can understand like what's going on, but I'm so glad that they talked it through. Like, oof. The narrator was good, but I did play it at 1.5, 1.25, mostly because that's a personal preference for me. It was going too slow. There were so many pauses and breath gaps. I'm just like, speed up. I do that with a lot with my books. His voice, the narrator's voice was very Dean Winchester to me. Loved it. I think that'd be fun. If Jensen Ackles were ever to record a book, I think I would immediately jump on it. Barring what maybe the content might be in it, but I think I would definitely jump into it. This is a book I would definitely read as a guilty pleasure while it's not being guilty, but just like a book that I could just go, take a deep sigh and feel cuddled up with. It's amazing. I do want to read the next books, and they were free for a time on Audible every now and then, but when they are is usually when I'm not in the mood to read them. I'm a very mood reader, and reading The Alphas Warlock, I was like, oh my god, I want to read the next one, but it wasn't out, and I was not going to pay for it at that point in time. So I haven't read it yet, the next two yet, but I am looking forward to it. Maybe 2025 will be the year for that. And then the fifth book I read was The Framed Women of Admire House by Brandy Shillitz. This is a physical copy, and I got it from my library. Libraries are incredible. Everyone should go to theirs. Support your libraries, support online libraries. Try and just make sure your library is still running, because they do such a huge part for the community. I was surprised like how much my library does for my community until like I went there and started just like looking at like what they do, like their sheets, and how many people go to these things, and how like just affected people are by it. And it's amazing. I found out some new ways to like eat foods that are cheaper, make your own pickles. I've learned like they have like these craft rooms, specific hours for certain kids who have nowhere to go after school immediately, and their parents can't afford after school programs. So it was really cool. I absolutely adore my library for that. This book, it was very lighthearted. It was a mystery. It had some nitty gritty like murder mystery vibes, which I absolutely loved. I was in a good mood for the most of it. It was not sad or scary, but there were a few moments where you're just like, damn, that sucks. I wish it could be better for you. The mystery ending was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually really cool. There were some parts where I got confused on who did what and how this happened, etc. I think that's something I'm going to struggle with mystery, or maybe it was just this mystery, but I couldn't figure out who and what was going on during some of it. The main character is autistic, and that is really cool. And it also has ADHD representation, which I have pretty, and it was really well done. My Kindle. So it was really good. But it's not a horribly memorable book, in my opinion. But I do love the cover. The cover I got was from the library was orange and purple, and I thought that was really pretty. But I rated it 4 out of 5. And then let's end it on this one. The Mr. Bridesmaid. Oh my god. I'm not gonna cut this, mostly because I can only stand looking at myself for so long. Mr. Bridesmaid by Ivy Oliver. I read on Audible once more. I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It was very cute, and it was dual narrated. So this was my first ever dual narrated book. I love it. I love listening to dual narrations now. I adore it. I think I'm going to try listening to Lights Out now because of dual narration. Not because like the plot, I heard like it drops off, but I think I would just listen to dual narrators a lot because I enjoy seeing them play off each other. So it was dual narrated by Stephen Dexter and Noah Michael Levine. I listened to this all in one night. It took me 5 hours, and it was a cute middle of the road rom-com. The main character's best friend is getting married, and he is her best man / bridesmaid, maid of honor. The other male lead is the best friend's brother. So it's pretty, like, I like the kind of iconic, my best friend's brother is the one for me. That's all I could think of that song during this. It was, I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but it just, you can tell that this woman does not like her family, and I feel so bad. The bride, she does not like her family, and I feel so bad for it because she's self-built, and her family sucks. Like, her brother's cool, but like her parents suck, her cousins suck, her aunts and uncles suck. They come from a rich family, but she herself built her business up. Yes, she did get a small loan of $1 million. That's pretty much what that is. But she built up her own business herself, still completely tries to run it herself with minimum employees. And she paid her parents back for it, which I thought was really cool. But it was a really cute book. I liked the miscommunication in it. I think it was kind of funny. And it made sense. I did like, but I also did not like. The author's writing style is really good, but I didn't like, so I think that's what made this part enjoyable for me. I didn't like that they confronted the parents at certain times, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's just skin crawls. does everyone have to do this for weddings? Like, no thank you. Actually, I'll end it on this one. But so that book was a 3 stars because I did fall asleep during it a couple times, but I might come back to it at some point just to listen to, like, reminds me of Hallmark. It's a very Hallmark-esque book. The last book, I'm probably gonna keep saying that, but for reals. Shackleford Banks Sasquatch by Christopher Flowers. I struggled with this so hard. It was only 2 hours, but it was narrated by AI voice, which it's horrible. Like, I understand why, like, you can't always afford to hire someone to narrate for you. But at that point, I think you should just narrate it for yourself, to be completely honest. Or like, if you're not able to, I can get why AI voice would be used and be a good tool for that, but I just could not do it. I couldn't do it. And this story was not a great story. I rated it 2 stars. It started with a good foundation, and I thought we were going to build up. And maybe it was because I'm like, oh, maybe this will be a romance because I just read Mr. Bridesmaid. It was not. I was kind of disappointed in that. But it was not a great book. Didn't really enjoy it. So 2 out of 5 stars. The idea felt flat. In my next video, I'm going to talk about the All for the Game series by Nora Skavik. But that's another rabbit hole that I'm going to do in a different video. Thank you for watching, though. This is Random Hub, out.